This is the Job Hunt Ninja, and welcome to the Sunday Q&A session. Now, this one is slightly different because I received a lot of questions that were very similar, and they all pretty much said, how do you stand out from the competition when you're looking for work, when you're looking for a job? And so I thought about how can I answer this. I wasn't sure how to answer it, but then I realized, you know what? There's a three-step answer to this, and I'm going to show you what the different steps are. So this is part one of three, and I'll be recording the other two sessions as well, and I'll be uploading them, and you'll get access to them. So the very first step when you're thinking about this is self-assessment, and you really want to focus on what do you have to offer, what is it that you bring to the table. Now keep in mind we're talking about careers here, but there's other things you need to take into consideration as well. We're going to get to that in a couple of slides, but really start thinking about, okay, what is it that I have to offer, what is it that I have to bring to the table for employers to want me. But then also look at who needs what you have to offer. And it's funny because my son was over the other day and he said something, and I knew he got this concept because he said, "Man," he said, "Dad, I can't believe people ain't hiring you with all the stuff that you know." I said, "Well, maybe they don't have a big enough need, and so they don't need me." He said, "Yeah, because when people have problems and they got serious problems, they look for people that can solve those problems." I said, "Right." I said, "I can't solve the problems until they have the problems." I said, "No matter how I package myself, they're not seeing how I'm going to benefit them because the problem's not big enough." And so they have to have a need for what you're bringing. And so part of what you have to do is get them, make them want to have what you offer. In other words, help them to see that what you offer meets their needs and only you can solve that problem. And this is huge. Like, it sounds really simple. There's a whole process, a whole methodology behind this. This is what I do a lot of my one-on-one coaching with people, because this right here, when you personalize this and you really help people to craft a presentation and know how to package themselves to deliver to employers, interviews become fun. Like, it really does. But we're not talking about interviews right now. So self-assessment, very, very, very first step. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you to understand where you start with the self-assessment. If you do not take any survey or assessments online, that's fine. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to see how you can sort of go through this process. This is a very surface level process, but it's going to really help you understand where to start. So this is my information just to make it easier for you. So if I'm looking to self-assess and I don't know where to start, the first place I'm going to start is looking at the previous, keep this in mind, previous roles I've had. What have I done up to this point? In a previous video, I mentioned that you need to have a master resume. You're going to start to see that the things that I say, I will start connecting it. It's very critical. Even though it's simple on the surface, it begins to serve as a tool to help you better present who you are. Because if you have that master resume, that master document that I spoke about, then now you have a resource of what you've done in the past. And I said you create that document because you can't remember everything. So everything you do, everything you learn, every software, every program, every training, every certification, every certificate, all of that stuff goes in that master resume document. And so because I have that document, I don't necessarily have to reference it because I live in that document, if not on a, you know, every other day basis, at the bare minimum, a weekly basis. I'm adding something, looking at it and reading it. So on my document, this is what I know. I know I was a trainer, facilitator, lecturer, teacher, instructor, professor, marketing consultant, online and offline, computer trainer instructor, a lead and traffic generation specialist, an executive administrative assistant, a writer, copywriter, web administrator and web developer, coach and mentor, whether it's career, sports, or life, and a business owner and strategic planner. So this is very surface level, but what it begins to help you do is understand what you have done. So as a trainer, as a facilitator, as a lecturer, what makes me special? What makes me stand out from the competition? I'm gonna give you a simple example. When I was an adjunct professor at 3 different colleges, you're not guaranteed to teach every semester. You're not. If people enroll, then you have a class to teach. That's why you was an adjunct, part-time professor. And so I did that at 3 colleges, and at every college I taught at, people kept requesting my class. It got to the point where it got requested so much. They said, "Hey, would you be willing to teach in the summers?" I was like, "Well, I wasn't thinking about teaching, but I mean, if you need me, I'll do it." And so then I started teaching all year round, every semester. And that was a result of something that I had, something that I brought to the table, something that I offered to the students that made them request me. And of course, those who took my class spoke highly of me, but I had to really start asking myself, what is it you bring to the table? What is it that makes you different, that makes you special, that makes you stand out? And I'm going to ask you the same question. What makes you different? What makes you special? What makes you stand out? And as you do this surface level self-assessment, you have to now start digging deep. What did people say? What was the comments they made? What did they praise you on? What did people pull you to the side and say, "Hey, I thank you for this," or "I appreciate that you did that"? Like those little things help you to figure out what is it you really and truly offer to employers. Okay, don't limit yourself. It's going to take some time to do this. It's not going to be easy, but it's not going to be hard. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So now, I couldn't wait to get to this slide because everything prior to this was about your career, okay, about the job, about what you're bringing, who needs it, and how do you make them want it. But now we get to a portion that's very deep for many people, and you have to take this into consideration. So watch how I explain this, and then you're going to understand why I put this here. Now, I'm not saying this is true for everyone. That is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I have seen this play out over 3 decades, and I've seen a pattern. And I'm just going to explain to you the pattern that I have seen, and then you agree, disagree, that's on you. So I've seen people who were spiritual, strong spiritually, strong personal relationships, but education wise and professionally, not doing so well. I've also seen people, degrees and great careers, but spiritually and personally, suffering, suffering. And so you have to figure out, how do you balance all of this? Because you can't be strong in every area, but there are some areas you will be strong in. And so because where I grew up, and it was a struggle, I threw everything into my education and professional career, which means I was very strong in those areas. But boy, when it came to spiritual and personal, woo, woo, I was a hot mess. Still am. I'm still am. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. Hot, hot mess. Because those are the areas I didn't spend a lot of time on. And so as a result, I'm not fully developed in a lot of those areas. It's not that I'm bad. It's just a lot of things I just don't do that I should do, that I know I should do. And so I'm working on balancing this chart. I'm working on the areas that I know I'm weak. And it's not easy. It's really not. But you recognize that I have to prioritize what's important, and you start working on prioritizing what's important. So you know where you're strong and when it comes to these areas, and you know where you're weak. And so you know what you have to do. It's amazing how we ask people for advice, but deep down, we already know what we need to work on. So you know what you need to work on. So don't just do, "Oh, I'm going to focus on my job and my career. I'm going to be fine." No, there are 2 other areas. Okay. If you focus on your education and professional life already, I can almost guarantee you might have to improve on the spiritual and personal, because all of your effort and focus was in areas that now you're strong in. So now that you're strong in those areas, start working on the areas that you're not as strong in, whatever it may be. So now you've probably been told, get a job doing what you like or love, make it your career, settle down until retirement. And now you realize that most of what you've been told was inaccurate at best and has not worked out the way you were told it would. And here's the part that I think confuses people. It's okay to have several career goals and career paths. You actually should. And I think after the pandemic, we're starting to realize more and more that maybe one career, maybe that might not work. Maybe I can venture out and do other things. I can have a side gig or a side hustle. I can do the Uber, the DoorDash, the Instacart, and still do my full time job. There's other things I could be doing to help generate additional income, not solely relying on one area. Maybe I'm an artist and I love to draw, but I never figured out how to use those skills to generate money. Then I go on a site like Fiverr and I start offering my drawings, my ability to be creative to others, and they start ordering from me, and I start making a decent amount of money. Like, you don't have to focus just on one thing in terms of a career. You can do multiple things. The only thing I'm going to stress is that in that previous chart, you saw the spiritual, you saw the personal, you saw the educational, and you saw the professional. Just make sure there's a balance there. Just make sure you don't overdo it in one area, neglecting other areas. I'm really good at that. I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's something that I'm unlearning. That I have to unlearn, and I have to rework in my mind. It's not to overdo it in the areas where I'm strong. To refocus on areas where I'm not as strong, and make sure you get that working right. So this is not just about you. This is about me too. Okay, I'm just sharing with you what I've seen and what I know. So I have some questions for you because when you're doing a self-assessment, you really want to go a little deeper. Like really, like you want to go a little deeper. And so why are you so nervous on interviews? Like seriously, like I want you to answer that question. And then start thinking about where did you get those thoughts from? Like where did they come from? I know for me, I never really I never really knew people who interviewed for jobs. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I grew up in a neighborhood that wasn't so nice. Although I never really had too many issues. It's just everything around me was going crazy. So it wasn't a good neighborhood. Let me just put it that way. And so everyone that I knew already had jobs. So I didn't really know of people who actually went out and interviewed. And so as a result, I had to learn a whole lot about job interviews along the way. And it was some hard lessons. So why are you so hard on yourself? Where did you get that from? Okay. Why are you so hard on yourself? Let me put this next question up and I'll come back to this. Why do you doubt yourself? Where did you get those thoughts from? So let's get back. So, why are you hard on yourself? The one thing that I learned fairly quickly when I was young, thank goodness for sports, thank goodness for football and basketball, because I realized it was okay to mess up because you're going to get another chance. Okay. You're going to get another down. You're going to get the ball back. I knew if I screwed up, and I would be upset, but I also knew I have another opportunity to redeem myself. And so I find it that in life and when it comes to jobs and careers, people for some reason are so hard on themselves. Like they go on interviews, and, oh, you big dummy. Why did you not say this? Or why did you not say that? But keep in mind, this is you talking to yourself. So you are your worst enemy. Like you don't need anybody to talk bad to you when you talk like that to yourself. So that's why I'm asking you these questions. Like, why are you so nervous? Why are you so hard on yourself? You're going to screw up. You are going to mess up. Not everything is going to be perfect. You can give 150%, 200%, and something still does not work. So what do? You learn from your mistakes. You learn from what happened. You brush yourself off, and you get back and you do it again. But then again, you have the doubt. The doubt starts to creep in, and so you start to question. Watch this: yourself, what you have to offer. Then your confidence starts to decrease. It's so many things. It's critically important that you begin to answer these three simple questions. That's if they apply to you. Why are you so nervous on interviews? Why are you so hard on yourself? And why do you doubt yourself? Okay, you must answer those questions because as you start to get the answers to those, you're going to uncover some things that you probably don't even remember. Maybe somebody said something to you, made you feel a certain way, and you just held on to that. And then you need to get to the point when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, because that's the question you're going to have to ask yourself. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? So are you? I mean, are you at that point? Because if not, not much is going to change. I've seen it even with myself and with thousands of others. Unless they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, nothing changes. And usually that's when your back is up against the wall, there's no other option, and you have to make a decision to change. Unfortunately, that's not always a good place to be because you can lose so much at that point. So, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So, the next thing we want to look at is, and this is tough again. See, I know in the beginning, well, um, how do you stand out from the competition looking for work? Self-assessment. Self-assessment. That's how it works. Knowing what you bring to the table, knowing what you have to offer, understanding the previous jobs that you've had, and pulling from that the nuggets that made you unique, special, stand out, and that it's what's going to help you to stand out from the competition. Do not, under any circumstances, concern yourself with the competition. You focus solely on you and what you bring to the table. Now, once you become confident in your ability to identify what you have to offer, and then you're able to eloquently express that, then and only then should you assess the competition. But even then, I do not recommend it because the employer is going to tell you what they're looking for. They're going to tell you what they need. Your job is just to connect what you bring to what they need and show them how you can solve their problems. End of story. But sometimes you have to know when to cut your losses. Sometimes you have to leave that job that's not treating you well, that job that's not paying you well. And I'm not just saying get up and quit. Okay. We're not talking about the great resignation here, like the way people present it. No, go out there and look for something that's better. Find the company that fits you. If you haven't done so already, you really, really need to take the Job Hunt Ninja Insights. It's free because I go into the 6 types of fit. Like I go into a lot of topics that really help you to stand out from the competition. And a lot of it is self assessment, but with a little more detail and direction. So just know when to cut your losses. You just have to know when to walk away. And you have to, what is it that's really holding you back? Like, what is it? What is, like, I know for me, I had a fear, which is ironic because I never had a fear of talking in front of people. You can put me on stage with 100,000 people. I can talk. That's not an issue. But I had this issue with selling, just selling in general. And it was really hard for me to do cold calls. And I'm like, what is it that kept holding me back? And I realized that, you know what? I'm worried about being rejected. I'm worried about what people are going to say. And then it dawned on me. I said, wait a minute. They're not rejecting me. They're rejecting what I am presenting. Really has nothing to do with me personally because they do not know me. And then, once I shared that with people, they said, wow, that's how I felt. So I don't own stuff that I don't need to own. I just don't take ownership of stuff like that. So what was holding me back when I'm trying to do cold calls is the feeling of being rejected as if it was personal. And I had to disconnect the fact that, okay, I am presenting something. They are saying no, but they're not saying no to me. They're saying no to the offer. And once I was able to do that, it really helped me. It really helped me. What are you really afraid of? Like, what is the thing that scares you the most? Like, what is the thing that keeps you up at night? And admit what that is. Like honestly, maybe it's paying the bills, keeping food on the table. Maybe it's being alone, losing that person that you love and care about the most. Like just admit what is it? Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, but a lot of times, and we don't realize this. Your personal life and your professional life are integrated. You are one person. It's not like you can split yourself, right? And so, if something happens to you in your personal life, it can spill over into your professional life. And if something happens in your professional life, it can spill over into your personal life. Okay. So you can have that career shock. I mean, I could do a whole training on career shock, but you can have that career shock. So if you go to work and you find out that you no longer have a job, then that's a shock. That's a career shock. What you think is going to happen when you go home? So Don't think because you're afraid of something in your personal life, it will not impact your professional life, and vice versa. Like it really can. It really can. Now, here's the question that you're going to have to answer. And this is not going to be easy for you. Why do you want to work? I'm giving you three options here. Do you need the money or do you want the money? Do you want to work because you want to learn or do you want to work because you enjoy what you do? So, not everybody, and I know this is going to sound funny, not everybody works for money. Depending on where they come from in their life, sometimes going to work gets you out of the house, gets you out of an environment where you just need to escape. And going to work is your safe haven. Okay. I've seen this many times over the years. Some people go to work to learn. Granted, they're getting paid, but they're really there to learn as much as they can learn to improve themselves. Because remember self-assessment, and then what is it that you have to offer? What is it that you bring to the table? So if someone goes to work to learn and they're constantly learning, then when they leave, whenever that may be, they're going to have a wealth of knowledge, skills, and information that they can now offer their new employer. That's if they came to learn, of course. But did you go to work because you enjoy it? It's something that you truly enjoy. Now, the funny part is if you actually enjoy something, you are learning, and someone is paying you to do what you would do for free. So it's not always easy to find a job that you enjoy. I've done what I wanted to do for pretty much 3 decades, which is to help people improve their standard of living. And I've enjoyed every minute of it because it's what I love to do. And I learned along the way, not just book knowledge, but from the people that I helped as well. And I was able to make sufficient money to take care of my household. So I'm having fun, I'm learning, and I'm making money. Like right now, I'm having fun. Okay. I'm learning, maybe not directly from you yet, but I'm learning in other areas and I'm making money. Like I can't complain. I can't. Whenever you do not have a clue as to what to do, just do something. Move forward until you realize you need to make a change. Or find a mentor or group to guide you through the process. Just do not do nothing at all. And I promise you will be surprised by the results that you get when you take action. The job you want, the career you want is waiting for you. Move forward, move forward, press forward. Okay. That's so important because if you don't move forward and you stay where you are, this time next year, you'll be in the same position. Okay. And we don't want that. Okay. We don't want, I know you don't want that. And I know I don't want that for you. So please move forward. Remember, I said earlier, you're gonna make mistakes. It's going to happen. When that time comes and you realize this is the wrong direction, I don't really want to do this anymore. Make a different choice. Adjust and move in the direction you want to move in, and then keep going until you realize a change needs to be made. But at the end of the day, you're not where you was before. You're moving. So move, take some action. So this is the job hunt ninja. And this is the first part of how to stand out from the competition when you're looking for work or looking for a job. And so one thing I just want to mention is the URL you see, jobhuntninja.com/JHNM. I now have a mastermind community. So for those of you who are interested in just connecting with me and my team, and you want us to help you with crafting a resume, helping you just ace job interviews, prepare for job interviews, things of that nature. Just a community where you could come and ask questions and get input and guidance on how to navigate this process of going from either one employer to another, basically going from maybe not working to working, and maybe you stayed home and you need to return back to work, or sometimes you just like, look, I need help negotiating this salary, or I need help with this. That's what you have access to with the Job Hunt Ninja Mastermind. You get access for $20 a month to the resume and the Ace the Job interview sections within the mastermind. There are other sections, but these are the only two sections you'll get access to. And that's $20 a month. I'm going to let you know that eventually I'm going to raise that price. You'll see it once you visit the link when I'm going to raise that price. So if you someone that you just need to ask questions, get some guidance, then hey, sign up, join. I'll be there, and my team will be there, and some other people will be coming through as well. I'm not going to mention their names yet. So I'm here to help. I'm glad I can help. And as always, you take care, you be safe, and you stay blessed.